Welcome to the last Pasadena Monthly of 2024. I'm your host, Justin Chapman. After taking a look at what's been going on in Pasadena this past month, we'll speak with our guest, mural artist Victor Ving. But before we get started, let's check out these Pasadena media news briefs.
Descanso Gardens has officially opened its annual Enchanted Forest of Light, offering a breathtaking holiday experience now through January 5th. This popular installation, running nightly from 5:30 p.m. to 10 p.m., transforms the gardens into a spectacular showcase of lights and sounds. Visitors can stroll through the illuminated garden paths on a 60 to 90-minute walk, surrounded by dazzling displays of light, vibrant colors, and ambient music. Each section of the garden is designed to create a dramatic and immersive atmosphere, turning the natural landscapes into a magical, otherworldly experience. This year's features include the return of Tom Fruin's iconic stained glass houses, glittering geometric sculptures from Hibikozo, the vibrant flower-powered display along the promenade, and stunning lightning effects in the ancient forest. The Enchanted Forest of Light is a seasonal favorite and promises an unforgettable evening for visitors of all ages. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit descansogardens.org. On November 18th, the Pasadena City Council unanimously designated the Pasadena Elks Lodge No. 672, located at 400 West Colorado Boulevard, as a historic landmark. Recommended by the Historic Preservation Commission in September, the lodge is an outstanding example of neoclassical revival architecture, designed by architect Myron Hunt. Its defining features include a symmetrical facade, a grand projecting porch with Tuscan columns, and double-hung wood windows. With minimal changes since its construction, the lodge maintains its historical integrity, ensuring its place as a lasting symbol of Pasadena's rich heritage. For more information about the lodge, visit PasadenaElks672.org. The Pasadena Tournament of Roses and Mansion Entertainment Group are thrilled to unveil the lineup for the grand finale of the 136th Rose Parade on January 1st, 2025. The event will feature performances by pop icon Debbie Gibson, singer-songwriter Betty Who, and the students and alumni of the Debbie Allen Dance Academy, with the legendary Debbie Allen riding the float to celebrate the Academy's 25th anniversary. Debbie Gibson, a multi-platinum pop star, continues to inspire with her hit singles and upcoming memoir. Debbie Allen, a renowned director and choreographer, will celebrate the lasting impact of her dance academy, which has empowered youth in underserved communities for 25 years. Betty Who, an LGBTQ+ icon, brings her heartfelt and resilient anthems to the stage, following her Broadway debut in Hadestown. The grand finale is presented by Mansion Entertainment Group, a leader in family entertainment known for its expertise in film, television, animation, music, and live experiences. This spectacular celebration will bring the Rose Parade's theme, Best Day Ever, to life with music, dance, and artistry, honoring the power of community and creativity. For more information about the Rose Parade, visit tournamentofroses.com.
Let's turn next to our lightning round of news updates. 1. The Caltech Postdocs and Grad Workers Union held a strike authorization vote in early December, and the vote passed with 86% of more than 1,400 members. The union represents 2,000 postdocs and academic researchers at Caltech who are currently bargaining for a living wage, affordable health care, and protections and financial support for international scholars. Some items in the contract have been agreed on, but negotiations will continue in January for the remaining items. 2. The Rose Bowl and the Rose Bowl Legacy Foundation launched an $80 million renovation and enhancement campaign to upgrade the stadium. The initiative includes multiple projects, some of which have already been completed, and is funded entirely through private contributions. The first phase will finish in 2026, and the second phase will begin after the 2028 Olympics. The already completed projects include the refurbishment of the stadium marquee sign, a new sound system, and safe standing sections in the east sideline's first 8 rows. Projects to come include a new field-level club in the south end zone, enhanced fan technology, improved seating which will result in more legroom but about 20,000 fewer seats, one of the largest video boards in the country, and critical infrastructure improvements to gas and water systems. 3. After Brandon Lamar was declared the winner of the presidential contest of the Pasadena chapter of the NAACP, the national office said it is investigating election irregularities, thereby putting those results on hold. 111 votes for Lamar and 76 votes for Vice President Ron Matthews. 25 members of the Pasadena NAACP signed and filed a complaint to the national office with allegations against Lamar's campaign, including unauthorized public statements that depict the Branson in a negative light, an unauthorized vote held by the supervising election committee without full committee present, breaches of confidentiality, and unallowable third-party or non-member involvement. This came after Matthews congratulated Lamar on winning and said, "The outcome was not in my favor. I wish the new officers much success, and I fully support their efforts as we move forward together. 4. The newly elected Pasadena City Council, PUSD School Board, Senator, and others were sworn in. Outgoing council member Felicia Williams gave a farewell speech, and her replacement in District 2, Rick Cole, who previously served on the council from 1983 to 1995 and served as the rotating mayor and vice mayor, was sworn in again. The council elected District 5 Councilmember Jess Rivas as its next vice mayor for 1 year, replacing Steve Madison, who served for the past year. The school board appointed Jennifer Hall-Lee as president, Tina Fredericks as vice president, and Yarma Velasquez as clerk for a 1-year term, and newly elected board member Scott Harden was sworn in. Also, Adam Schiff, who represented parts of Pasadena in the U.S. House of Representatives for 23 years and was a guest on this show, was sworn in as California's newest senator, replacing LaFonza Butler and filling out the last few weeks of the late Dianne Feinstein's term. He was on the ballot twice, so next month he will be sworn in again and begin serving the full 6-year term to which he was elected last month. 5. Last month, the California Apartment Association filed its final written argument in their appeal of a judge's decision against their lawsuit to overturn Pasadena's rent control law. The CAA reiterated its key arguments that Measure H shouldn't have been an amendment because it significantly alters Pasadena's governance structure, among other things. This month, the City of Santa Monica, the Santa Monica Rent Board, and the Berkeley Rent Stabilization Board filed an amicus brief supporting Pasadena's Rental Housing Board in that ongoing lawsuit. The landlord group Pasadena Housing Providers said they plan to pursue a ballot initiative in 2026 to restructure and reform the Rental Housing Board. Meanwhile, Pasadena's rental property owners who failed to register their units by December 22nd, this past Sunday, with the new citywide rental registry, will be prohibited from raising rents or pursuing evictions. Also this month, the council filled a vacancy on the Rental Housing Board with Christine Rodriguez. 6. With Pasadena's independent police auditor, Dr. Richard Rosenthal, set to retire on January 6, the council approved a 1-year, $175,000 contract with the Office of Independent Review Group to serve as the city's new independent police auditor. Teresa Magula of OIR will be the lead representative for the group. OIR has a long history with the city of Pasadena and has conducted a number of administrative reviews of officer-involved shooting incidents over the years. The IPA recently conducted a comprehensive community and an officer survey on the Pasadena Police Department's use of pretext stops, with evaluation of the data and recommendations by subject matter experts expected by January 15th. 7. The City Council held a workshop on the planning process for the relinquished 710 Stub property late last month. The city's Reconnecting Communities 710 Advisory Group established several subcommittees that will focus on the priorities identified by the architectural firm that is consulting on the 710 redevelopment master plan to the city, Perkins Eastman. These subcommittees will focus on restorative justice, land use and data collection, economic study and market analysis, mobility and circulation, and climate resilience. The next community event on the 710 will take place January 25th and focus on the restorative justice framework, including its working definition, process, guiding elements, and relevant case studies. UCLA's Center for Neighborhood Knowledge and Institute of Transportation Studies, one of the 3 consultants the city hired to investigate and document the history and impact of the displacement of the 710 and 210 freeways, discovered that the original route Caltrans wanted would have been further west than it actually is, displacing hundreds of fewer residents and going through the Rose Bowl parking lot, but that the city of Pasadena lobbied Caltrans for the route that eventually got built. 8. The council's Public Safety Committee discussed homeless courts as one idea among several to tackle homelessness following the Supreme Court's grants pass decision earlier this year. That would involve enhancing outreach services and exploring alternative legal solutions for unhoused individuals facing minor criminal charges such as trespassing, petty theft, and public urination. Meanwhile, volunteers are needed for the annual homeless count, which will take place the night of January 22nd and the morning of January 23rd. The deadline to register is January 5th, and volunteers must attend a virtual orientation on January 15th. You can sign up at pasadenapartnership.org. Also, now that Pasadena Housing Director Bill Wong, who was a guest on this show last month, has retired, the application process for the next director will begin in January, followed by screenings and interviews the following month. Jim Wong is the interim director. 9. The council approved a 20-year, 50-megawatt solar power agreement with Grace Orchard Solar 3 LLC, a subsidiary of NextEra Energy Resources, bringing the city that much closer to achieving 100% carbon-free electricity by the end of 2030. The deal will provide power from a solar facility near Blythe, California, starting in 2028. And 10. The LA County Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to designate Owen Brown's gravesite in the Altadena Mountains as a county historical landmark, an effort 35 years in the making. Brown was an abolitionist in the 19th century and the last survivor of his father John Brown's Harper's Ferry raid in 1859. Although the raid failed, it accelerated the Civil War, which began 16 months later. Owen died of pneumonia on January 8, 1889, at his sister's house in Pasadena at age 64. Let's welcome our guest, mural artist Victor Ving. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yep, glad to be here.
Victor Ving is a former New York City graffiti artist who now utilizes his street art experience to create public murals for local communities. He was the founder of Klug House Gallery in New York and operated a national mural agency called Mural Art and Consulting for 8 years. In 2015, Victor and his wife, photographer Lisa Beggs, packed their entire lives into an RV to create their artwork on the road full time. Since then, they have worked with over 70 communities across 30 states to paint their modern-day postcard murals known as the Greetings Tour. Using their classic large letter postcard style, they collaborate with communities to create meaningful murals that seamlessly weave together local culture, history, landmarks, and nature. So tell us a little bit about your early career as a graffiti artist and how that led to your current career as a muralist.
Yeah, well, first off, I feel underdressed. I look great. So that's a question that often comes up. I think it's interesting to people because it's the more controversial background. But just to set the context, I wasn't like doing gang graffiti or anything like that. It's more like style writing, and a lot of it was legally done. And it taught me a lot about scale, working in the public outside of the comfort of a studio, the medium of spray paint, and I took a lot of the positives and kind of led me to the path I went down and where I am today.
And what is the Greetings Tour, and how did that get started?
The Greetings Tour is a project my wife Lisa and I started in 2015. Kind of as you mentioned, we packed our whole lives into a small 24-foot RV. We had this idea of traveling, but also trying to give something back to different communities while we travel, not just purely like taking and making our own memories. But we decided to just leave New York and do it for a year. We bought an RV. Lisa's family actually used to own an RV dealership, so it was actually her first job growing up, was washing RVs. Me, as a city kid, I grew up in New York City, didn't know anything about that world, but it was the most economical way to do it. So we set off, and kind of one thing led to another, and it just, we did our first mural on the road in Chicago, and from that it kind of blew up and went from 1 year to close to a little over 5 years full time on the road.
And how many murals are in the series, and where are some of the local ones nearby that people can check out?
Yeah, we've painted, I've kind of lost track, but at now probably as part of this series, over 70 murals and close to maybe like 30 states. And locally, we have 3 in Pasadena that are part of the Greetings Tour, which is there's one on Highlight Coffee on Lincoln, and then one on Colorado across from PCC on Marion, and then the most recent one, which is the style we're most known for, the classic large letter postcard, is on Colorado and Arroyo. Technically behind Arroyo on Morgan Alley.
Right.
So, yeah.
And there's one in Altadena as well.
Yeah, we have the same, also 3 and so we try to limit to max like 3. So there's like 3 different styles we do.
Yeah. And how do you go about selecting a location, and what's the approval process like? I imagine it varies city to city.
Yeah, so like you said, every single city across the country is different. We, for example, in Pasadena, we had to go through planning, just almost just like changing a color of paint on the wall in certain historic districts.
Right.
But as far as, are you talking more about like the design, or what goes into
yeah,
it?
The design and the approval process in planning, is it a long process? Is there a lot of steps involved?
I would say probably, yeah, it is a lot of paperwork. Some cities is pretty straightforward, but I don't think Pasadena necessarily has like a specific mural process. It's more for like signage and things like that.
Right.
But Yeah, it took about like a month to get the permit for the most recent one. Yeah.
And why did you select Pasadena? And are you living in Pasadena now?
Yeah, so in 2020, we settled here. It was during the pandemic. It wasn't realistic to just keep living on the road. And then, yeah, we're definitely settled here. Bought a house in Northwest Pasadena, and now I have like a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old now.
Congrats. So you selected Pasadena because that's where you were living. You wanted to contribute art here.
You're talking about why I selected Pasadena for these murals? Yeah. So actually, all the murals we've done locally in Pasadena and Altadena are our labor was pretty much donated for every single one of those. And then we had support from various entities for sponsorship of materials and things like that. But it's because we've worked with so many communities all over the country, and it was very rare having this nomadic lifestyle to have a community to call our own. So we finally had that opportunity, and we wanted to take everything we've learned over the years and apply it to our community. And it's been great, connecting with so many different community members and meeting people that are just really involved in where they live.
That's great. When did you start on the mural in Pasadena, the one in Colorado and Arroyo, and how long did that process take?
Yeah, I mean that's a good. In terms of like from starting to finding the right wall as a canvas. I mean, we started that process when we moved here in 2020, so it's 4 years, and then finally finding the wall, finding a property owner that was on board with the project. Because a lot of times, it's not as easy as it sounds, because everyone that has a business, they kind of want something out of it versus like true public art, they kind of want to advertise their business, but like, no, we're doing this for the community. And then finally got someone on board. And then there's a process of involving the public to see, what does Pasadena mean to you? And, asking a lot of local businesses and residents. And it's rare because now we are the local artists finally. And we even set up a website to take votes on what Pasadena means to people. And we decided to really focus on the humanities of Pasadena for this mural. Right.
What kind of business is the mural on?
Well, right now it's actually vacant. It used to be a Chase on the corner there.
Right.
So there's a new property owner that came in and yeah, kind of vacant at the time.
And tell us about the actual painting and your process there and what materials you use.
Yeah, so the process, we get asked this often, like how do we paint large scale? But it's a traditional sign painter process of, it's called pouncing. It's essentially, I have a machine that shocks little holes in paper, and then you roll it on the wall, and then you hit it with chalk, and it kind of goes through. And then the medium I use is primarily spray paint, besides the large blocks of color in the background, which is all just house paint, essentially. Yeah. But even before we get to all this, like any artwork, like we spend probably like a week just prepping the wall, because the paint on top is only as good as what's underneath it,
And it took you about a month, if I recall correctly?
Yeah, I'd say start to finish, roughly 20 days or so to paint that mural. It was pretty detailed, because our murals, it's like one big mural, and then within each letter, it's like a series of mini murals. So just takes some time.
Yeah, for sure. Are you're working all day, every day during those 20 days?
Yeah, sunrise to sunset, and it was harsh because it was a south-facing wall, so we were just blasted by the sun all day. We had some umbrellas.
And you're using some local artists as well, too?
Yeah. So that was one of the concepts of the greetings tour. Is like every community we went to, we work with a local artist. So we either like gave them a letter to do their artwork in, or somehow they got involved. And in this case, we are, like I said before, we are local artists, but we still wanted to invite some other regional. We have artists from like Sierra Madre and Atwater come help out.
Nice. And tell us a little bit more about selecting the images in the mural. You had a poll online. What were some of the popular items? What got left on the cutting room floor?
In that poll, I'd say the top was kind of, I don't want to say cliche, but like the Colorado Bridge, City Hall. But we're actually already focused on those two elements in the two other murals we've done. So we kind of left that out of this one, and we focus more, like I said, on the humanities. trying to remember off top, but like the history element is like the historic citrus groves and San Gabriel Mountains, like nature elements, and people like Jackie Robinson, Mac Robinson, Eddie Van Halen's in there. We focused on a Rose Queen, which was the first ever LGBT Jewish and glasses wearing
Right.
Rose Queen. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else. The Caltech Jack Parsons, we put him in there.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, we actually have a little Easter egg of ourselves in there too at Eaton Canyon Falls. Well, Phoebe Bridges is in there.
It's great. You included Mac Robinson as well.
Yeah. I feel like he gets left behind.
Exactly.
Call it out.
Yeah. And I understand you came from working on a mural today, or you're taking a break from that to come speak with us. And so, can you tell us about that mural?
Yeah. So, I mean, previous, as you mentioned, I used to have a mural agency, so I've done my share of kind of commercial work, for lack of better words. And I still do it today if it's local, but my focus has been more on public art. Just at the end of the day, I feel better, contributing something positive rather than an ad or something like that. So,
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I am painting a mural for a business in San Gabriel, for like a golf cart business. Have to pay the bills.
And what else is coming up for you? What's in the works of 2025, 26?
Yeah, the next city we're doing one in is in Monterey Park. My parents live there currently, so it's a nice connection. And then we've been talking to Azusa. These days, I have a little one, and it's tough to travel all the time. So I've been very grateful for all the local opportunities in the San Gabriel Valley. So,
yeah, for sure. So no long-term travel plans in the near future?
I mean, yes, we're eventually, I mean, one of the bigger goals is to have one in every state. I mean, we're more than halfway there, but it's also no rush. I'd rather do things right.
Right. And how can people support your work or get involved?
I mean, kind of, when people appreciate public art, it helps us in the bigger picture, because one of the elements that we've created with this project is like this wall of fame. So we encourage people when they go visit or collect our murals to support a local business nearby, and then in turn, I think that helps us too. So, and we send people that hit over 10 plus murals, we send them free postcards and prints and things of that nature. So yeah, that's one of our goals, is just to help local businesses increase foot traffic. And you can find this on all the social media. It's all Greetings Tour.
So greetingstour.com.
Yeah, greetingstour.com, and then at Greetings Tour on like Facebook, Instagram, all that. So.
Great. Well, Victor, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for donating these murals to the Pasadena community. I know the community appreciates it. So thank you very much, and everyone go check out the new mural on Colorado and Arroyo Parkway. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Before we go, here is this month in Pasadena history. In keeping with the mural theme of this episode, it was this month in 1989 when artist and activist Keith Haring was invited to paint a mural at Art Center's Hillside campus to serve as a permanent memorial to members of the art community who have died of AIDS, and as a symbol of hope and compassion. The mural was painted over 2 days in conjunction with the second annual World AIDS Day, then called AIDS Awareness Day, and as part of the first ever Day Without Art. Today, covering a large wall across from the Fogg Library entrance, it offers a daily source of inspiration to the college's growing community of students focused on social impact art and design. Haring's painting also stands as a tribute to Haring himself, who died of AIDS-related complications in February 1990, just 2 months after the Art Center public work was completed. Keith Haring's mural is available to view from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. when classes are in session. Guided tours are available at noon on the fourth Saturday of each month from June to August. For more information, contact exhibitions@artcenter.edu. Thank you all so much to Pasadena Media, to this show's producers, George Filardo, Chris Miller, and Jasiri Jenkins-Glenn, to the director and editor, Jeffrey Stanfield, without whom this show would not be possible. And to all of you viewers for watching Pasadena Monthly this year, a year in which it became an award-winning show. So thank you for watching. I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, and I wish you and yours a very happy New Year. Remember to tune in every fourth Friday of the month at 5 p.m. Learn more at pasadenamedia.org and justindouglaschapman.com. Drop me a line at jchapman@cityofpasadena.net. We'll see you next year.